Relax, the keyboard is off, the press box is closed, and the mic is just getting warmed up as the guardian of the blue paint turned writer is about to enlighten us. The show where the writer is fresh off the presses and the ink is not dry. For this week's show, the Flyers, enough is enough. Can we see the kids now, please? Welcome to the Hockey Writers Ink. Join Lance and Steel as we bring you all the latest on the Flyers.
Hi guys, welcome back to another edition of the Hockey Writers Ink. As always, I'm your host, Lance Green.
And as always, I'm your co-host, SteelFlyers. And how you doing, Lance?
I'm all right. How about yourself?
Oh, man, I'm telling you what, I'm excited. I'm explosively excited about another great show that we got lined up for you guys tonight. What do you think?
I'm ready. I'm ready to get into it.
You ready to get into it? Now, I'm going to tell you something here, folks. I can't believe this, man. We're on episode number 111. 111. How about that, right? Never thought we'd get this far. But for this episode, the Flyers. Enough is enough. Can we see the kids, please? And this goes based off of your article that you wrote that you put out this week on the SteelFlyers.com website, which, by the way, you have to go check that out at SteelFlyers.com. Go check out the latest article from Lance Green, and you will see this great article that Lance just posted out yesterday.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, yesterday I think it was. Yeah, something like that, right? So, gotta go check that out for sure. And that's what we're going to talk about for tonight's show. We're going to focus on that, and we're going to focus on the first game back from the All-Star break as well, too. So, and of course, as always, usually as per usual, when we record, the Flyers are playing. So, and we're going to talk about some great things too, as far as what's happening here with the show and the SteelFlyers All Sports Network. So, Lance, what do you think, man? You ready to get flying on this?
I think so.
I think so too. All right. First, we'd like to say a big thank you to Manscaped.com for their support. All you have to do is go to manscaped.com, get 20% off your order, type in Hockey Writers Ink, and get 20% off. So thank you very much for Manscaped for your support. And we wouldn't be able to be doing all this great stuff without you guys out there listening and watching and subscribing and hitting the buttons and finding us and ranking us and all the 5 stars and all that great stuff. So thank you all very much for that. Really appreciate that. Here we go, man. We're going to get flying into this. Lance, this article that you posted out to the SteelFlyers.com website is another awesome shot of coolness with Lance's latest article for us to feast our eyes on. And the writer extraordinaire has just said what I think many of Flyers Nation is thinking. That's right. Flyers, enough is enough. The season is up as a loss. Chalk the season up as a loss and bring up the kids already. Lance, I don't even think do I even need to ask you what the inspiration was for this?
The inspiration was that, before, pretty much after Christmas and until the All-Star break, the team was playing some pretty darn easy teams. And we went over that in the past couple of, shows and everything like that. And, a lot of people are picked up by that. They like to see the team winning some games, and who wouldn't? But the harsh reality of it, as, foretold in the game tonight, as we record this right now, they're playing a lot better teams. And they're going to for the next couple of weeks here. Tonight they got the Oilers.
Yeah.
In the coming weeks, they got the Kraken, they got the Devils, they got the Rangers, who just acquired Tarasenko.
Got the Hurricanes, they got Pittsburgh, they got Boston, the Lightning. Oh, yeah. Man, yeah.
We got a pretty...
It's going to get ugly.
It's going to get ugly real quick, for sure. Just a lot of teams with superstar talent that are going to be able to be steps, above the Flyers, and, basically because the Flyers don't have that star power to take them to the next level, to win a game, with every time they step on the ice, somebody that's going to be sure to put a point on the board. They don't have that.
Yeah. I mean,
let's be honest.
I mean, it's great that, TK has been playing great. He's on a 9-game point streak or, whatever. That's great. And it's great to see Kevin Hayes finally playing up to his contract after 5 years. Do you know what I mean? So those are all great things. It's great seeing Scotty Lawton putting up numbers that he hasn't seen, since juniors. You know what I'm saying? It's great seeing players shine. It really is. We want to see this team be successful. But the whole thing of it is this, just like you said, we got to Christmas, and then we had a stretch of games where we were playing teams that were, on or around the Flyers level. Right?
To be fair, yeah.
Yeah, to be fair, right? And so they won a few and lost a few. It wasn't the best stretch of times, and it wasn't the worst stretch of times. You know what I mean? And so here's where it is right now. If the season were to stop right now, okay, the Flyers would be picking 10th.
Right.
Okay, based off of points. Okay, and no trades or nothing, just based off of, they would be picking 10th because, what is it, the top 7 get the lottery? Well, it's the top 5, I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think they switched that so that people wouldn't get, teams wouldn't be able to jump that far ahead and get a lottery pick out of nowhere, number 1 pick overall or something like that.
Well, yeah, that was when the Rangers, but they finished, like, technically they would have been like 13th or 14th.
Yeah, so they wanted to kind of, narrow the gap a little bit, keep it a little bit more fair for the teams that are struggling. So I don't know what the latest is, something like that. Yeah.
Irregardless of that fact, you know what I mean? So, what is it about the fact that this team was able to win a few of those games and lose a few of those games, and now we're coming to that point in the season where we're going to be playing some more of the difficult teams, you know what I mean? And that's why I think this article was so perfect, because once you get to the All-Star break, and being, what were they at the All-Star break? 21, 21, and 9 or something, 23, 23, and 9 or something crazy like that, right?
Yeah,
they had 51 points. Okay, 51 points, right? They've been stuck at 51 now for the last couple. I don't know, Lance. That's why I think this article was the perfect timing, because I think you do need to chalk this season up as a loss. You know what I mean? Even if you are picking 10th, you're still too far from a playoff spot. You know what I mean? And I don't even think there's, even if you do go on a run, what kind of run are you going to go on with the schedule that you have remaining, the remaining 30 games against the teams that we just rattled off? Carolina, Boston, Tampa Bay, Pittsburgh, New Jersey. What are those games you going to win?
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's like the article from a couple weeks ago that I wrote. The Flyers are just too good to be bad and too bad to be good.
It just keeps coming back around, doesn't it?
It just still holds true. And this team for the past few seasons, or as far as I can remember, have been that team that are a bubble team. They win just enough games to get them to either outside of the playoffs and they just don't make it in, or they get in the first round and get bounced out, right? Hey, in a few years ago, they won 2 series and then lost, but whatever the case may be. But it really doesn't help us in the long run. We're getting, I like this player, but I'm going to use him as a comparison. A Scotty Lawton type player every year. In the first round, we'll draft a serviceable player that is going to have some NHL, years under his belt. He's going to be an NHL player, but He's not a true contributor that's going to push you over the edge and help you raise that Stanley Cup, right?
No, wait a minute now. Hold on. I think Scotty Lawton is more than just a serviceable player.
I like him.
I think now, don't get me wrong. I don't want a team full of Scotty Lawtons.
Right.
Okay, but you need a guy like him on your team. And if you draft a kid like him, hey, I'm down with that because, quite honestly, I think he has been one of the most consistent and best players for the Flyers the last 3 years.
I mean, I think he's been that longer. But what I'm saying is he's not the type of guy that's he's going to give you great seasons. He's going to be a great Flyer. Yeah. Everybody likes him. But he's not a 30-goal scorer. He's not a 100-point guy.
Yeah, I get you now, yeah.
You're not going to get that from drafting at that 10 to 15 to 17, round,
or
overall.
Yeah.
The Flyers got Cutter Gauthier. That's great. He looks like he's going to develop into something. But, the Tyson Forresters at pick 23, the Cam Yorks at pick 14, Joel Farabee's at 14.
Even Sean Couturier was picked at 14th.
Yeah, Scotty Lawton at 20. Sean Couturier was at 8. But yeah.
Oh, at 8. Okay, I'm sorry.
That type of guys. But they're not the guys that are going to be game changers, right? They're not going to be the ones that you're going to be banner hanging outside of the front of the building with their face on it so everybody driving by can see, their likeness and bringing fans in, right? That's what we need. That's what the Flyers have lacked since, honestly, I mean, Jeff Carter, Mike Richards, or possibly just John LeClaire and Eric Lindros, right? Big players that are going to go out and get you the, the W.
If they're going to score, it's when they're going to score.
It's a matter of when.
Yeah.
And the sooner the Flyers realize that and get to the fact where they're going to bring up some of these kids. People say it's too early and the Flyers could still make it in. But if you look what's going on in the NHL today, Vladimir Tarasenko was just traded today, right? He's going to the Rangers. Big free agent or, big trade acquisition, right? Let's see. Bo Horvat was traded to the Islanders already. That was before the All-Star break. So the teams that are actually in need and rebuilding are doing that. They're accepting their fate of what they are. They know they're not actually competitive in the long stretch of things to actually win a chance to win a cup this year. So they're trying to get as much as they can now. They're not waiting until the trade deadline day when three-fourths of the teams that are going to be buyers have already went out and got their players. They've got rid of those players while there were still multiple teams calling them about them, not going, oh, we're going to wait till the last minute of the trade deadline and maybe have one or two teams calling us and they're not going to pay up because they know if you don't trade them to them, you're going to lose them for nothing at the end of the season.
Yeah, right.
Right now is when people, are giving out, like the Rangers did, conditional first-round picks, fourth-round picks, first-round pick for Bo Horvat.
I saw that.
Not saying the Flyers essentially have first-round pick talent to do that. Maybe if they traded Provorov, but, that's a whole different thing there we won't really get into. But that's where I'm at. And the Flyers, I'd rather see these kids play, right? I'd rather see these kids play. And some of the people that I brought up in question is, do you, think about it. Do you really want to go through the rest of this season until the trade deadline and see when somebody's out of the lineup, a 35-year-old Justin Braun come up again? He's played 34 games this season. He has no goals. Come on now. I mean, this guy's he's got no points at all. He doesn't even have an assist this year, right? Why do I want to see this guy hang around when you got a guy like a 23-year-old Ronnie Attard, coming up, and he just made the AHL All-Star game. He's a young guy.
Showed out really well, man, too. He was in the hardest shot, and he was 97 miles an hour. The winning shot was 102. He was at third place in the hardest shot.
So my question is, he stands people up at the blue line. He doesn't let them by and just skate by them.
Responsible.
He's everything the Flyers need. And this is a guy that needs to be developed. We don't have right-hand shot defensemen. We're forcing Cam York most nights to play the right side because we don't have anybody that can. So bring this kid up. Why are we having 34 games of Justin Braun right now? I don't care if you don't keep him up the whole time. Bring him up when you have to play that kind of player or somebody gets injured or whatever. Give him some NHL experience. This kid's an AHL All-Star. I'd rather prefer see him up right now and get the games experience and get half a season of experience and go through the bumps and bruises now rather than next season.
I agree with you, and this is one of the things that I would like to clear up. And this is something that I was when I read the article, and this is what this whole article made me think of, this whole line of thinking. Okay. And that's this. I'm not very excited about LePerriere being the coach of the Phantoms. I'm not saying he's doing a horrible job or anything like that, and I'm not trying to put the guy down. Okay. I haven't seen very much good product coming out of his efforts in anything that he's done with the team other than be a player. When he was a player for the team, man, he was an awesome player for the team, played the Flyer way, the whole 9 yards. Okay. But I haven't seen anything good coming out of him as far as coaching is concerned. And the fact that the Phantoms are not running the same system that Tortorella is running for the big club. Okay. So Coach Ian is out to just do whatever he sees fit to do, which whatever he's doing is gotten them, well, they're fifth in the conference or fifth in the division right now. They're 28-19-5. You know what I mean? And they're fighting for playoff spots and stuff like that. And you know what I'm saying? This is why this is why I love reading your articles, Lance, because it always gives me a fresh perspective on a different line of thinking about things. This is why I think you wrote this. Just correct me if I'm wrong, because you look at Ian LePerriere as the coach of the Phantoms and you go, oh, man, well, he's not running the same system that they're running on the big club. And then you look at players like Ronnie Attard, Tyson Forster, you know what I mean? Those players that are playing very, very well in the AHL, making the all-star games. Why are we not watching these players play with the big club under John Tortorella's tutelage instead of under LePerriere's tutelage? Does that make sense? That's kind of why I'm thinking that we're at that point right now where this season is a wash, and this is why we need to bring these guys up here to play, because they need the time. This would be perfect. And, hey, guess what? Bonus, if they win, now you're winning with your draft picks and all your kids. Oh, no. How horrible would that be?
Yeah, I mean, I get people's stand where they say, let him stay down there, let him play top line minutes and let him develop. But at what point are they're all-stars down there right now?
Yeah.
At what point, where are they going to go from here? They're already all-stars. They're already, top on their team and some of the best players in the league. At some point, you need to let them keep on developing. Where are they going to just rack up all the points in the AHL? Let them come up and at least get a taste of it. And,
exactly.
If they flounder, send them back down. But, and another, you already brought him up, Tyson Forrester. Tyson Forrester could come up and replace Kiefer Bellows, who has been, I really had high hopes for Kiefer coming over. I thought it was a solid pickup, but because you had a lot of injuries, and it was a good shot in the dark,
Right.
for
Yeah,
a pickup
yeah,
for the rest of this season. And if it
yeah.
works out, great. If it doesn't, you let him go. But it hasn't really worked out. He scored like 1 goal in 15 games played by the time I wrote this article with the Flyers.
Time to go.
He did pretty well. He did pretty well when he went down to Lehigh. But yeah, replace him with Tyson Forrester. Tyson Forrester's the team's 2020 first-round pick. He has an NHL shot since he was like 16.
Right.
And at the point of the All-Star game, he was a team leading 17 goals, 13 assists for 30 points. And, he has the size. He's 6'2", 194 pounds. He has the shot. Why not give him a shot? Why not give him a shot?
His skating has gotten much better.
It has.
Okay. I mean, to the point where he's now an AHL All-Star. Look, this is the other dynamic as well, too. We didn't even talk about a certain particular goaltender. But this is the dynamic here that I think is going on. You got the leftover AV guys, right? And now you got a completely new coach in who's got a completely different system, although all coaches all have kind of the same mantra. They all want you to be, responsible defensively and, do your best offensively and play within the system, blah, 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 blah. But it's a different system, clearly, Tortorella running than what AV did. And he's stuck with a whole bunch of AV guys.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And so I'm going to go back to an old Bill Parcells quote. If you're going to be cooking the food, you ought to be able to buy the groceries. So that's why I was so upset and so disjointed when they waited so long to bring John Tortorella in as the coach or bring him in as the coach, because he could have been an influence on the players that they would have selected in that draft, because within 2 or so years, he's going to be coaching them.
Hopefully. Yeah. If they were that good. Yeah.
But you see what I mean, though, that's why I don't understand this. I don't know. Could it be just me? It has to be, man.
I definitely don't know. And I mean, if you keep going down the list, James Van Riemsdyk, who we talked about last week,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. He needs to be traded. He needs to be traded sooner rather than later, so that we actually get something for him.
Mm-hmm.
There's still meat on the bone there. He's not having a great season under John Tortorella, but he was the Flyers' leading goal scorer last year.
True, but you know what, though, Lance? I'll tell you what, though. Here's the one thing I am going to say about JVR. He has bought in.
Sure he has.
Okay?
Sure he has.
He has bought into the Tortorella system. Okay? Yeah. He's not having his best year. He missed 21 games because of a broken hand, finger, or whatever he had there, where he had to get surgery and all that. So, But he missed 21 games. Okay? So I'm not going to necessarily hold that against him.
No.
That he's having a down year. Well, he missed 21 games. But he's pretty much been available for the Flyers for the most part since he's been back.
No, I think he's had a pretty good season for the Flyers since he's been back. He's skating better. He's balled in, like you said.
Yeah.
But where I'm getting at, I guess, is the fact that he's got an expiring contract. And if you don't get something for him, he's going to go away for nothing. I don't think the Flyers are going to sign him back, and definitely not for what he's making now, if they even thought of it. So get rid of him now. He's 33, I think, that.
33.
I mean,
yeah.
he's getting long in the tooth. He hasn't really worked out like you thought he would when you signed him to that big contract. So let him go, get something for him, third round pick, established prospect, something. Somebody's going to need him. And I think he would be a good fit for Carolina. And, then we could bring up Elliot Dejournay or Bobby Brink, who led the NCAA in points last year.
We didn't even mention the Destroyer Dejournay. We didn't even mention Bobby Brink. I mean, boom.
Yeah, I mean, Bobby led the league last year in the NCAA. That's a tough league. He proved he can hang and bang with some of the big boys in the NCAA. And
since he's been back from injury, though, too, he's also played pretty darn well.
Yeah, he's played pretty darn well in the AHL. I thought it was going to be more of a conditioning stint down there. But it looks like they just are happy keeping him down there. And I don't know why. I mean, I'd much rather see him play than Kiefer Bellows or, some of these other guys. Wade Allison's playing pretty well, but truly, I think Farabee needs to sit a couple of games. And
I agree.
He really hasn't, been striking the back of the net at all this year. And, I'm really disappointed in him. So
yeah, he does seem to have dropped off a little bit from what he's been playing the last 2 years. But I also think, too, that injury that he sustained and then coming back as early as he did, quite honestly, I'm even surprised that he's playing, if you must know the truth. I didn't think he was going to play at all this year based off of what we thought the injury was going to be and everything else like that, and the procedure and all that. And so the fact that he's even playing, it's one of those things where I think he's probably only like 70%. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. And in that case, with Couture still out, Atkinson out, Ellis out, and you're playing a Farabee that's 70%, or that's your assessment, but who knows? He's not 100%. I don't think he is.
Yeah.
So why not let him also rest up and get Bobby Brink some time to come up and see what he has this season. Play him for a 10-game stretch and see what he has. What would it hurt at this point?
That's the thing, Lance.
If the Flyers are losing right now to the Edmonton Oilers, they're going to be losing multiple games coming forward in the coming weeks with all of the tough teams that they are to face. Like, play the kids already. I get people not wanting to do so just yet, but this middle of the road mediocrity BS that the Flyers have been in for the past 10 years I'm just over it, man. I don't want to see the team tank, but if they were to do it this year, would it be a heck of a year to do it with Connor? There's actual players that are going to change franchises right now. Okay. This Connor Bednard is breaking records or has similar records to what Connor McDavid had through this many games in
case y'all didn't know.
So that he is a special player, and grabbing one of those type guys to add to Cutter Gauthier, to add to Tyson Forster, to add to Bobby Brink, and others, I think would be pretty smart. Oh, and Tippett, looks like he's going to be a 20-goal scorer now.
Yeah, man.
Tortorella's offense. You got a good young nucleus coming. It'd be nice to add a big piece this
or two
this
offseason. A big piece or two. Look, we all know the reality is this, okay? There's a lot of things that this team could do, and I would actually like to get into some of that.
Okay.
Okay. But I think first we're going to have a quick little word here from our sponsor. What do you think, man?
Sure.
Ready? All right. I think we're going to do a quick little one here. And
Give it to me, Steel. Let me hear
You
it.
got it? You ready? All right. Support for
Got that voice.
SteelFlyers.com is brought to you by Manscaped.com, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's Performance Package is the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 17 million and two men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer just for you. Okay, 20% off free worldwide shipping with the code Hockey Writers Ink, all one word, at manscaped.com. And if my math is correct, that's about 14 million and four balls. So, with that being said, the Performance Package 4.0 has arrived, and oh man, is it a game changer. Inside this package, you'll find the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, Performance Boxers briefs, travel bag to hold all your goodies, and a really cool t-shirt. First off, the Lawnmower 4.0, this trimmer is the future of grooming and, dare I say, the greatest ball trimmer ever. Look here, folks. I want to show you something. You see this bad boy? Look at this. This thing right here, the 4th generation trimmer, features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology, right? Look, it's got a cool light on that bad boy, and it fits in my hand. I'm a pretty big guy, and it fits in my hand. Lawnmower 4.0 is waterproof, also has a 4000K LED spotlight, which I just showed you. There it is. Got the spotlight. Yep. Just in case you need a more precise shave. Because this trimmer is waterproof, you can say goodbye to the mess on the bathroom floor. And hey, in the Performance Package, they give you these great little, like, newspapers that you can put on the floor in case you want to do it like that. You know what I'm saying, right? So you got these really cool little things that they put in the package for you, so that if you do have to do it on the bathroom floor, you can do it over something and then fold it up and throw it away. No big problem on that, right? You thought that was good, but you want to take your grooming to the next level and go even further. Performance Package 4.0 also includes the Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer. The Weed Whacker is also waterproof and provides proprietary skin-safe technology, which helps reduce nicks, snags, and tugs, and those delicate nose holes. That's right. The Crop Preserver ball deodorant and Crop Reviver ball toner will change the way you approach your hygiene routine. Trust me when I say this, fellas, your balls will thank you. Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts for the Performance Package 4.0, the Boxers and the Shed Travel Bag. Bring your comfort and boxers to another level. It's time to take care of yourself, so go to manscaped.com and get 20% off plus free shipping worldwide with the code Hockey Writers Ink. That's right. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code Hockey Writers Ink at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping. All you have to do is type in Hockey Writers Ink. Unlock your confidence, and as always, use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. All right. Thank you, Manscaped, for all the great stuff you guys do, and appreciate all the support. Lance, I got to tell you something here, man. The thing that really scares me the most is exactly what we've been talking about, where this mediocrity keeps continuing. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? And the first game back from the All-Star break was, I mean, they made the Islanders look great. Now, I don't know about you, but the Islanders aren't, I mean, yeah, they went out and traded and got Bo Horvath. All right. He's a plus 30 goal scorer already this season. Great. Okay. But we clearly know that the Islanders are building for the future.
Yeah.
Right. And the fact that they trade for this guy, he comes in and they look great against us. And we have historically this season have had our best records when we've had longer than 2 days rest. Right. I think the Flyers are like 14-2-1 with more than 2 days rest or something crazy like that, right? So they had the whole week off, the whole All-Star break, the whole 9 yards. They come back in Monday, first game back, and boom, lay an egg against the Islanders. Now they're playing the Oilers tonight. The next couple
Yeah.
of games are going to be against teams that are, it's not looking good here, folks. Okay? It just ain't.
Definitely not.
Why are they what are they waiting for? Lance, what am I missing?
I don't know. I don't know what their strategy is. I think Chuck Fletcher's too old-fashioned in this sense, and doesn't really want to make a move until trade deadline. I mean, I've talked to you before. I used to love taking off of work for
Trade deadline day. Yeah.
And it would just be one trade after another, after another, after another. But that's simply not how the NHL is doing it right now. They're trying to get a step ahead. They're trying to start early as soon as teams really figure out that they are just not really going to be contenders this year and are willing to get rid of some of their players. Getting a captain in Bo, who's still at the height of his career, scoring 30 plus goals. All right. Like, that's amazing for the Islanders.
And I think the Tarasenko move too, to come into New York and putting him up there with Panarin and Zibanejad and the rest of that crew, that's going to be dangerous, man. If they can put it together there.
That's one more weapon to go against the Flyers for sure. And we already know, Zibanejad and others are just Flyers killers anyway. And now they just got one.
Need another one. All right. Yeah. Yay. And New Jersey's on the come. They've been playing so much better of late. When we knew they were gonna, they've had multiple first-round picks, and now those guys are starting to play together.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Barring injuries and such. But New Jersey's gotten a lot better.
One off season. It took one off season. They were right there, worse off than the Flyers last year. And they went out and made some big acquisitions, shored up their defense, got a backup goaltender that's been playing lights out for them and now has become their starter. The good young nucleus of players, like you said, that they were, drafting, have now been developing into something because they've been playing together for the past season or two. They took their bumps, they took their bruises, last year and whatever, but they played the kids, they played the youth.
That's true. They did.
And, and they really stepped up and now are showing just who they are, and they're, of course, well above where the Flyers are. So,
which that's the other thing too. You know what I mean? It's like all these other teams that were below the Flyers have now surpassed the Flyers. Like I think even Buffalo. I mean, Buffalo's kind of, they're about that same level. Right.
They're more exciting to watch for sure.
But okay, see,
know what I mean?
This is what happens when you're a bad team for so long and you keep getting number one draft picks. Eventually, the number one draft picks play for the team, and where's our number one draft picks? Why aren't they playing for the team?
One's in college still. And one's still down in the Phantoms making the All-Star game, but they don't bring them up.
Where's our number one picks? Does Chuck Fletcher have a number one pick playing anywhere? No, he doesn't. Yeah, I kind of, that was my other little.
That's about it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my other little comment on that too. What of all the players, Chuck's been in the league now for over 12 years. Right? He's been in over 12 years. What player has he drafted that has gotten anywhere or done anything, or is even a starting contributor to a team?
Kirill Kaprizov. That's from Minnesota. That took years. That took really years to really develop and come over. Be willing to come over from. But that's really the one. That's his one pride and joy that he can hang his hat on. Wow.
Man, we should pay this guy. We should have him be our general manager for multiple decades. Woo, doggies. All right. Tell us how we really feel. Okay. something else is happening here with this team that maybe I'm not seeing or maybe I don't understand. And that is this. There's no such thing as tanking. Okay? Let's just end that right now. Okay? There's no way on this rock that this team is going to quote unquote throw games to try to lose. That's not how Tortorella is cut. Okay? I don't think any coach is cut like that. Do you know of any?
They're putting their job on the line if they do.
So that's what I'm talking about here, right? So this whole tank for Bednar and all this other stuff, look, it's a great sentiment, and it would make for a great story. It really would. But the cold hard reality is that the Flyers are nowhere near going to get a player like that in this draft. That's just not in the cards. Okay. And that's what I'm missing here. Right? Isn't it? Because.
Yeah, there's a big difference. Tanking, you can't really do that if you want to be a successful franchise. You darn well, it'd be nice, but there's a big difference. Just because you're playing the kids doesn't mean we're tanking. Like I said, I think they would actually be upgrades over people like Justin Braun and
we might actually win more games.
Right. And in the same process, you're going to develop those players, and see what you have instead of keeping over the hill veterans on the team that aren't going to be with the club. Hopefully, oh my goodness, I hope he's not brought back again next year to be on this team.
Are you listening to this guy, folks? Are you listening to what this guy's telling you?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, are you guys hearing this stuff? Right? So this is coming from a professional writer who covers a team, who sits in the press box, right? Who's interviewed players. I mean, are you guys listening to this? Okay.
And I think all you have to do is really you look at the Red Wings, you look at the Devils, and Buffalo. They played the kids, they struggled, but now all of those guys have had that success together and fought through and learned, together, playing the system that they're going to play in, and are now succeeding. It's that simple.
I would rather see, and this is something else too, and I don't know if we talked about this in our last show, but the state of the team letter, did we talk about that in the last show?
I think we touched on it briefly, but not to the point that I think you're hinting at.
Okay, no, I don't remember. I don't remember if we did or not. And quite frankly, I don't really care about the letter, to be honest with you. I could care less because it was written by the wrong person. I don't really care what John Tortorella thinks. I don't really care where he feels this team is going to be and all other stuff. He's not the man that we should be hearing this letter from, or that's where he's not the person that should have been writing this letter.
Right.
He should not be the face of the franchise. Okay? And putting him in that position is going to be bad, man, because we see what happens when he's the face of the franchise. We've seen the mistakes that he's made. Now, he's a much more mature man. He's a much different coach than what he was. I'm completely believe that he's the right coach for this team right now. I've eaten as much crow as I could possibly eat. I'm full of it up to here. You know what I mean? As far as backtracking on my disdain for Tortorella as a coach. Okay? But I want to see the kids playing under him. I don't want to see him playing under LaPerriere. I want to see him playing under Tortorella. Okay? If they're going to lose, then they're going to lose under Tortorella. Okay? And then guess what? They're going to come back next year that much more hungrier, incentivized to play better for the coach. almost every player, with a few exceptions, have all said, man, I wish I was playing for Tortorella. I wish I could be. I've seen guys, ex-players, come out and saying that they wish that they could play under Tortorella. Okay, so.
Well, I think it's a little different too. I mean, it'd be a different story if the team had such depth and they were just losing games that the kids would be buried maybe on the fourth line. But I mean, you look at this roster and it's not that impressive. Down the middle, we have Scotty Lawton, who they transferred to be a winger. Noah Cates, who's shown progress, but he's definitely not worth being a second line center in the NHL.
I mean, he's so young.
He's very young, and I think he's talented. But to be a top 6 player in the NHL, you're not going to do that and be a successful franchise with him. I would be more happy if he was a third line center or fourth line center on a solid team. But, Morgan Frost, we all know I don't really care for Morgan Frost. Patrick Brown, that's not a good 1 through 4 down the middle. And now,
wow, that's the list of our centers.
That's our centers right now, right? That's our centers. Kevin Hayes isn't even playing center; he's playing wing, because we don't have anybody there. JVR is not producing like what he's getting paid to do. Joel Farabee's not producing because he's injured. So why not bring up these kids? Why not let them? They're going to get the minutes. Everybody's worried that they're not going to get the minutes in the NHL that they would in the AHL. Why the heck not? Why the heck not is what I
mean, what? You think he's going to bring them up and then have them sit there on the bench?
Right.
For 3/4 of the game and only give him 7-8 minutes a game? What? Are you kidding? Do we think this might be, and I'm just throwing this out there just because I have no idea. I don't think Tortorella would be balking at bringing up the youth, would he? He doesn't seem like he's that kind of coach to be, especially after the letter that he wrote and said that they're not there yet and they're building and blah, 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 blah. Well, then why wouldn't you want to have your best possible players out there to give you the best possible chance to win?
I don't know. I think he, at this point, has clearly made a stand and said, the best possible players are going to be playing. But he's made some decisions, but I don't think that's going to be true. I like Nick Seeler and the way he plays the game, but why is he still getting the chance to play? And Igor Zumala and others are not getting that chance to play. Like Ronnie. Why isn't Ronnie getting a chance to play then? So there's question marks. There's question marks of him keeping the kids down there and developing at the AHL level, but I don't know.
I mean, that was one of the things that I know you wanted to talk about was the goalie is Samuel Ersson. And, I understand to a certain extent why the Flyers sent him down, because they didn't want to lose him or they didn't want to lose Felix Sandstrom, right? That's why they sent him down. But my whole deal is this. What was your fear of really losing Felix Sandstrom? I mean, was there 16 or 17 teams knocking on the door going, hey, man, we need Felix Sandstrom?
Well, that's what I felt was comical about some of the retorts from, or thoughts I got back from the article that I wrote. And, they clearly, thought I didn't know what I was talking about, right? I didn't know how waivers worked and all that stuff. Okay, I do. I definitely do. I've read all of them. I know them back and forth. But like you said, Steel, why are we afraid of losing Felix Sandstrom? And who in the heck in the right mind is going to pick him up, right?
Who's calling for that guy?
let's face it. He's played in 15 NHL games between this year and last year, and he's won one game. What's the win percentage on that? That's horrible. Okay. This season, he's won one game out of 10 he's played in. He has a 3.45 goals against average. That's almost 3.5 goals a game that he gives up. That's not great. That is fireable numbers. Okay. And he has a sub 900 save percentage. That is bad, folks. That is really bad. Who on earth is going to pick this guy up? There's been so many other better goaltenders this year that has went through waivers and didn't get picked up. All right. He's a 2015 third round pick. All right. And
wow,
people
that's
said,
bad, Lance.
Yeah, it's really bad, right? At some point, you got to know when to cut your losses. All right. He hasn't developed. At this point, he's 2015 third round draft pick. All right. People said to me, well, Lance, goalies take longer to develop. Okay. I get it. I've been a goalie for over 30 years. I coach goaltending, to the youth and everything like that. Okay. I get goaltenders. I've been one for a long time.
Listening to what this man is saying, right? Do you guys get this? Right?
Right.
I don't get. Okay, he's a goalie, an ex-goalie. He still plays goal, right? Y'all are listening to the. All right, I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to interrupt, but
I get it. But I mean, at what point, guys? He's 26 years old. If you're still holding on to the fact that he may come around and be something, when is he going to be something? When he's 30? Like,
hey, we're still waiting around for Carter Hart to be that Carter Hart. We're still waiting for that.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for that guy to pan out to what they said he was going to be. Right now, you look at, my suggestion. You bring up Sam, right? He's 23 years old. He's played multiple seasons at a very high, level play overseas in the SHL. And he carried a very bad team for a long time over there.
Yes,
and he's got the experience, right? This is a very bad hockey club that he was carrying when he was up. In 7 games played this season for the Flyers, he won 5 of them. He has a 5-0-0 record. All right.
And a shutout.
And he has 1 shutout. And he has a team best 2.37 GAA and a team best 918 save percentage. Okay, it's a small sample size of the season, but he's got better numbers than Carter Hart. So why not this kid up?
Let's send him down.
Games. He was winning games. Why are you going to send him down? He was hot. He hasn't lost a game in the NHL, and you're going to send him back down to the minors because you're afraid to lose a guy who's won 1 NHL game ever?
Are you guys listening to this stuff?
Give me a break, guys. Give me a break.
We need to call Chuck. Actually, no, we don't need to call Chuck. What we really need to do is call Comcast and be like, hey, Comcast, we have an idea for you. Maybe you should think about it. It's like you keep banging your head up against the wall, thinking that the next time I bang my head up against the wall, it's not going to hurt. And bang! Oh, man, that hurt. Hey, if I do it one more time, it's not going to hurt. Bang! Oh, man, that hurt. That's exactly what's going on here with this team. We want to see this team be successful. We want to see we have done the research. We see the prospects. We see the potential of players that could come to this team. We scout the NHL to look for players that would be good fits for this team. Lance writes some of the best articles that I've ever read about this team, about prospects, his point of view, the way he sees things through a goalie's eyes has given this a whole unique perspective that you have to be more than just a fan. You have to be able to, yeah, we root for the Flyers every night that they play, and man, we like to see them do well, and we love tuning into Jim and Jonesy, and we love hearing them guys call the games, and it's all great. And they've actually been relatively more entertaining this year than they have been, but we want to see the W's, not the L's. Okay. And I'm very much more than willing to allow the L's to come if I know that the team is trying, if I know that the team is making the moves and doing the things to bring in the draft capital, to bring in the top free agents, to bring in the best coaches, to bring in, you know what I'm saying? And so until I see all that stuff, then I'm not going to think otherwise. That's kind of where I'm at. You know, I'm never going to give up on this team. Never. Okay? I'm going to keep rooting for this team because eventually there'll be new ownership. Eventually there'll be new general managers. Eventually there'll be new, you know, that all happens with time. Okay? Trust me. The logo on the front is the only thing that remains the same. Everything else changes.
Yeah. It's tough. It's definitely tough. I think you know, I've been hearing rumors about some of the Flyers, how they want to be big spenders at free agency. I think that's a wrong decision too. I don't really see anybody out there. I've heard talks of Dylan Larkin and stuff from the Detroit, if he's still out there, and the kid's not a game changer. Detroit's ready to let him walk because he's not been producing like they thought he would be at this point of his career, and he's asking for astronomical numbers just because the team is horrible. As I'm talking about the Flyers, you know, they don't need to go out and get themselves right back into another bad contract.
You just spelled it out for Uncle Chuck. That's absolutely what they're going to do historically.
Yeah, get rid of one bad contract. You got rid of Giroux, you know, who was paid okay, but, you know, he wasn't an elite talent. And you got rid of that contract. Yeah, you haven't got him out the door yet, and you already spent that money. You know, and Couturier and Farabee.
Yeah.
And you already spent that money and gave it to Couturier and Farabee. Now you're, you know, looking to get rid of, you know, JVR at the end of the season and get some draft capital, but you already kind of screwed that up when you went out and got Ryan Ellis, and now he's hurt for $6 million and that we can't spend. So there's too many bad contracts. Provorov's paid a little too much. Kevin Hayes is well overpaid for what he's been doing before this season. Sanheim, you go out and give him $6 million plus to be a fourth defenseman. Ristolainen, you kind of overpay to keep him here. You know, you just don't really. They're not making great signings here, and I guess they kind of doing what they can because they don't really have the people for great free agents to really get excited about and want to come to Philadelphia anymore because there's nobody to play with. But you had a hometown guy, you know, and you didn't bring him in either. So it doesn't really make sense.
You know, from what I understand, they weren't even close.
No. Well, he said he would take money. He said he would take a discount to come to Philly.
No, but I mean, from what I understand, the Flyers weren't even close. They weren't ever able to clear out any money to be able to offer him any kind of money. Even if he was going to take a hometown discount, they wouldn't have been able to offer him more than like a couple $1 million a year.
No, they couldn't because JVR's contract was still sitting on the books when he should have been traded.
And Farabee's contract was kicking in, and Couturier's contract was kicking in, and all these big contracts that you signed were kicking in that year, which is tied your hands to be able to spend big in free agency. Yeah, man, I'm here to tell you, dude, if Uncle Chuck is still the general manager of this team for the trade deadline, I I'm not going to give up, but I'm not going to have much hope for the future. That's for sure. And I'm here to tell you, man, this voice needs to change as far as I'm concerned on that front. I think they finally got the right coach, but I think they kind of lucked into that. Because quite honestly, I would have thought Bruce Boudreau would have been a good coach, right? Or even Barry Trotz would have been a good coach. You know what I'm saying? Both of them guys came in here. Both of them guys left without a contract. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just questioning the decisions that are being made because I see the mistakes. And I don't see any of the good. There's no good that's coming out of it. The team isn't any better. You know, they made all these moves and these hires for these coaches, and our power play is not any better. Our penalty killing is not any better, right? We're getting outshot on most nights. Okay, those are the areas that everybody said needs to be corrected. Well, they're still not corrected. If I if I was to get evaluated at my job, and I had a record like that, I wouldn't have my job very long. Okay, if I had the list of failures like that, are you kidding? In the short span of time, I would not have my job. So I'm questioning as to why this man has his job.
It's a good question. It's a good question.
So with that, I think we are going to quench this fire for tonight. What do you think?
I think so. I think we hit some points and gave people some thoughts to really
definitely
ponder on.
Think about. Yeah, I really agree with you though, Lance. I really think this is time for the kids, because what do you have to lose at this point? You know, and all you have is good things that you can gain, because now you're going to have these kids play together for a good batch of games that are going to face good, talented teams that
can really see what they got.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. When Cutter's done with his college season, I want to see him wearing orange and black.
Yes.
What? I'm not crazy. I'm not. I want to see what this kid is in orange and black. I want to see Tyson Forster playing for the orange and black. I want to see Ronnie Attard this season. I want to see it. Okay? I want to see it.
I think that'd be more exciting for the Flyers. I would actually go to more games just as a fan, you know,
all day
long. If they had some kids in there, they showed what's coming. You know, yeah, they may be losing games, but look what's coming. Look what's coming up the pike. Something to get excited about.
That letter that you wrote that said that you're trying, right? That you said that you're building, but you're not there yet. Guess what? You could go a long way to making that letter true by playing these kids now. Just a thought, just a suggestion from somebody who has watched this team now for over 30 years. So, okay. Lance, my friend, you got any ones in the works?
I'm sitting here actually writing notes for ideas of articles right now. Yeah, I do. I don't want to really share them. I don't know what I'm going to work on. I don't know what I'm going to work on next, but
okay, good.
I got some ideas for sure.
Yeah. This is why I love working with this man, because he has that great mind that is able to, and Lance, this is one of the reasons why I love your writing, because you always find what's wrong, give an idea of how to fix it.
Right.
Okay. It's not that you're pointing out what's wrong. We all know what's wrong. Yeah, the team sucks, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But how do you make it better? drafting better players, scouting for better players to draft for one, right?
Right.
Scouting the free agents to draft or to pick up for two, making good deals and doing your homework on the players that you could get for those said deals, right? It's like I feel like I'm doing the general manager job. You know what I mean? That's what you're doing, Lance, by writing these articles. You're doing
Right.
you know what I mean? So, all right. Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't you tell the folks where we can get you and where we can find you, sir?
Sure. As always, you can always find my articles on SteelFlyers.com, and you can find our podcast and our other podcast, Prospect Watch, on YouTube, any of your audio platforms for
Yep.
your podcast listening ease there.
Yep.
And you can catch me on Twitter at Lance.Green39.
For sure. So all you have to do is go to, like, say, Google or Amazon or iHeart or Spotify or any of those great platforms, or Apple, and type in Hockey Writers Inc. Our show comes up. You get to listen and give us a ranking, and it's all good, man. So thank you very much for that. Check us out on YouTube as well, and go to the SteelFlyers.com/link/Hockey Writers Inc. to get all of Lance's latest articles and, of course, get all the latest shows from us. Big thanks to Manscaped.com for all your support. Just remember, folks, you can get 20% off your order by going to Manscaped.com and typing in the code Hockey Writers Inc., all one word, HOCKEYWRITERSINK, and get 20% off your entire order. And let me tell you something, folks. It's getting to be about that time, Valentine's Day. And let me tell you something, guys. The wife, she likes it too. So go check out Manscaped for sure. Thank you very much for your support. You can find me on Twitter at SteelFlyers52, and you can find all the great work from all of the great contributors to the SteelFlyers All Sports Network, from Peyton on the radio to the great Perlo Wisdom, of course, the great Prospect Watch, and, of course, the Hockey Writers Inc. Thank you, Lance, for another great show. We'll see you guys all on the next episode of the Hockey Writers Inc.